We're your hosts,
Aaron Bacus
and Jason Kindler.
We like to sit down with our guests to hear their journey, their challenges, and how they impact the local community.
So grab a seat, tune in, and let's get inspired by Jacksonville's everyday workforce.
Welcome to Hometown Jax.
Hey everyone, Jason Kindler. I'm here today with Clayton King. Clayton, I'm going to give you a little story, a little background about Clayton. So Clayton is a Jacksonville-based financial advisor with Modern Woodmen of America, nonprofit financial services organization. Day-to-day revolves around helping individuals with life insurance, wealth management, retirement, college savings. But your entrepreneurial journey began when you started investing in real estate at just 18 years old.
That's correct.
Man, that's cool. Tell me about it. So what 18 years old, how did you start investing?
Well, it started out in Tallahassee, Florida.
Yep.
I was going to school.
Did you go to Florida State?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
And while going to school, renting, it was expensive.
Yes.
Not quite as expensive as it is now, but it was expensive. So after my first semester, spending, I remember correctly, about $800 to $900 a month for a room.
Yep.
Was looking at a new place to move into for the spring semester. Got to talking with the people who are helping with renting out units. Was a realtor, and she had noticed that I was one of the few people that wasn't getting a guarantor from my family, as they do, because my parents had put away for 529 plans and saved money, so I was paying as I go. And she had thrown out the idea saying like there was houses that were foreclosed on. If I had any interest in that, at first I was like, no.
Yeah.
But she, luckily, and I still keep in touch with her now. She actually works for me now. But luckily, she pushed the issue a little more. I was like, you know what? Why not? Got nothing going on this weekend.
Wow.
Let's look at some places. And ended up finding a house for $19,500.
Are you serious? Wow.
That was the first home.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know people that have, bought in their early 20s, but 18 and that's pretty cool. So you bought it for, that amount, fix it up. Was it?
Actually, one of the bigger blessings is I didn't have any serious renovations until about the 7th home. Dang. Most of these were turnkey, ready to move in. Granted, we're talking college rentals, so they didn't have to be top of the line.
Sure.
But no, the first home, I still own it now, and I've changed the roof, the AC, and put a window in, but nothing.
Oh, that's
the first,
crazy.
Decade.
Dude, that's amazing. So what a great way to have some passive income and all that. How many homes do you own?
Currently, right now, we have 121 rented in Jacksonville or in Tallahassee.
That's amazing.
And 2 in Jacksonville.
Wow. So is it just you that's doing that, or do you have partners? Or
I have a silent-ish partner. Yep. So as the story goes, as I hit about I was actually just in the process of finalizing on my 5th home. My dad, who was my financial advisor as well, who was not abreast of what was going on as well as he should have been, was curious on where all my money was going. Was kind of concerned. Was having too much fun in Tallahassee.
I gotcha. You're like, no, I'm actually investing, Dad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't so much just straight up asking. He came to visit, and with the intentions of figuring out what was going on.
Yeah.
My brother as well was up there, so he comes up and he kind of broached the situation of being like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
You had enough money to go 4 years, should have had no issues, and you're down to not making it through this semester. Like, what's happening? And that's when I told him, kind of showed him what I was doing. He goes, you're not in a position, you're here to go to school. You're not in a position to buy houses.
Yep.
But my father was, a financial advisor for, at that time, was about 30 years.
Yep.
He had brokered some businesses, and he had done a lot of entrepreneurials himself. So he was just asking me, hey, show me what's going on. Like, let's look at these things. And when we actually had looked at it, he had seen like I didn't just go get a bunch of mortgages. I bought cash that I was able to pay for college just off my rental income and live. That's when he kind of went, because this was 2011. So I'd been at it for about 11 months at this point. And, you know, the market wasn't doing that great. And he was like, you know, do they have more of these?
like what's going on and can I buy more? Yeah.
He got in and we became partners. So he put a huge financial influx in there, and that's where it really exploded.
That's awesome.
We were picking up houses all over the place. So but now he's older, he's retired, so we're in the process of buying him out. So hopefully by next few years he'll be able to sail off in the sunset.
That's awesome. So Dad was a financial advisor. Is that kind of where, I mean, that's a young age to be thinking, thinking how can I make money? How can I, do this? Did Dad have an influence on you as far as the financial side?
I have learned the more in life I have gone, the more influence he has had. Everybody that I've met, they don't talk finances. It's kind of almost a taboo in families to talk about finances. And in my family, it was about our favorite conversation. That's just normal Tuesday conversation with us. We used to discuss the stock market. We used to discuss
That's awesome.
LLCs.
Yep.
We used to discuss money management, proper taxes. And this was just normal things we would talk about. And so for me, it was always very normal. I always understood, ROI, could see a bigger picture. I mean, when I got into real estate, my thought process was, look, I can spend $19,000, which is about the same as a year's worth of rent.
Yep.
Go through college, rent out, the spare bedroom to a buddy of mine for $350. That's all I charged them for a month, and that it was all inclusive. And I was like, man, when I graduate, I'll sell it and get my money back. And wasn't thinking of it as a big, huge windfall. I was thinking of it as this is just smarter than paying rent. So.
That is real world. Like, going back to that, I mean, I think everyone has different, upbringings, and money's either, probably not to the extent you did, but I mean, it's either talked about or not. Mm-hmm. Right. And so, I'm in a situation where it was not touched on a lot. So you kind of had to learn things as you learned them, either the hard way or not. But and that's a huge advantage that you had. So do you have kids now, or?
I do. I have a 3-year-old.
So you have a 3-year-old. So he's probably an up and coming financial guy.
She is,
or she. Sorry.
She. Hopefully.
Yeah, but at the dinner table, you'll be talking about finances and things like that to better prepare her. That's awesome.
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. That's a huge. That's a huge thing that you were, you're lucky enough to have someone that kind of groomed you that way. So, one of the things that stood out to me, tell me a little bit about, the company that you work for. I know it's a unique situation. It's nonprofit. Tell me a little bit about Modern Woodsman.
So Modern Woodman, I've now been with them for a little over a year now. At the time when I was talking to them, I was retired and was kind of trying to find that thing to get you out of bed every day. What did I want to do? And actually, to be honest, my opinion on financial advising and finances as a whole was not what you would think it was. I kind of, especially being my father's son, I didn't really want to get into it. A huge shadow placed. And also, I looked at things like, when they charge fees and all the hidden stuff. And it was a little, I know the financial advisors out there, I would say 9 out of 10 of them are good. Mm-hmm. But there was just the stink of it of, if the market's going bad, they're they're still going to be okay. They build their boats.
It's a stigma.
It's a stigma there, and there's a lot of good ones out there. I don't want to say that they're not, but Modern Woodmen approached me and gave me the opportunity to be able to help people. I had already I've had friends and everyone who had always asked financial advice, what I would do, in my opinions on things, and so they gave me the opportunity to do what I really loved, which was helping people, but on a level that I felt actually could help the everyday person.
Yep.
And to my core, especially at that time and even to now, I've always believed that everyone's in control of their own money. Like they're in their own control. And I get kind of tired of when people go, oh, well, the government's raising taxes and inflation. Oh, I can't do it because of this. It's like, well, if we really let's really talk about it holistically of like, look, did you really need to get a new car?
Yes.
Do you need that house?
Yeah.
Being realistic and honest with yourself and being able to have a person in your corner that's not only just a financial advisor, but is genuinely out there for your best interest.
It's interesting you said that. Actually, this conversation got brought up in a meeting I had yesterday. It was along the lines of, it doesn't matter what party's in office. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of things that you cannot control, right? So from the financial side, my opinion has always been, you've got to do whatever it takes to make sure that you're okay.
Yep.
So right. Sounds like that's kind of along the same lines. Like, I'm going to do everything I can, and no matter what happens in government, that's not, that's not going to, it can affect you, but it's not going to be the reason why this happens and that happens.
Yep.
So good stuff. One thing you shared was that COVID shifted your mindset about work time, work and time. Like, what during that period of time, what kind of shift happened for you?
Well, so pre-COVID, I would have been probably referred to, especially by my wife, as a workaholic.
Yep.
In my own opinion, I don't think anyone's ever said it, but I always felt socially awkward not working.
Yep.
I would prefer to just be working and be productive and building out no matter what I was doing. So at the time I was living here, I was probably spending 3 to 4 days a week out in Tallahassee, handling things over there, coming back here, handling, different whatever crises or fire would come up. I was always wanted to be hands-on, involved, and spreading myself thin. But I enjoyed it. And then COVID happened. And that kind of was one of those uncertainties. No one knew what was going to happen. Yep. And it, kind of really sort of halted travel and movement. And I was like, oh, man, it's going to kill me. I'm not able to get to Tallahassee. Students aren't going to school.
Yep.
University shut. That was one of the biggest stones of my father investing with us was he was like, well, the university's here and that's not going anywhere, so you're guaranteed a source. Well, that had shut down.
Wow.
So we're like, oh, well, the one guarantee we had was gone.
Yeah.
So wasn't able to go, wasn't able to travel, wasn't able to get around, and was kind of stuck at the house, and had kind of a realization while hanging out with my wife and all this stuff going, absolutely nothing changed with us.
Yeah.
All this time that I'm working and time spent was literally just hamster on the wheel for me. Mm-hmm. Our lives didn't change. In fact, we just had a lot more free time, and it just hit a point in my life that I was just kind of like, almost down on myself, and the fact that what I'm doing is not as big of an effect as I thought I was. I wasn't the savior coming in saving everything. That actually these people that working were able to do the job, and were very capable of doing it. And in fact, probably were doing it better without me always being there and stuff. So stepped away, felt like that would be best for my wife and my family. And then she ended up got pregnant with our first child and my child was born, and then my wife was like, you need to find something to do. You can't be hanging out the house all day. So I started looking.
That's cool.
Came calling.
But I mean, you're a young guy, so I mean, but at your age, a lot of people, it takes years and years and years to realize that. And I think one of the lessons there too is that if you've got the right people, if you got the right people, they're capable if they're empowered.
Of course, yes. If you got the right people, you should always, you should hire leaders.
Yep.
And leaders will always, they're going to take ownership and they're going to do
Yep.
it. So if you're doing the right things, it comes out on top.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll get back to the story in just a second, but while you're listening, here's something you should know if you live in Northeast Florida. If you're self-employed and trying to buy a home, it's not as hard as you might think. We work with business owners, freelancers, and creatives every single day. People who don't fit the traditional housing molds, and we're here to let you know that we have real loan programs that make homeownership possible. We've helped tons of local business owners and creatives get approved using flexible loan options that work for them and their business. First Coast Mortgage Funding is proud to sponsor Hometown Jax right here in Jacksonville.
Tell me a little bit about what got you into the nonprofit side, like nonprofit work. I know you we talked a little bit about Jacksonville Land Trust. You said you're involved in the J Foundation.
So the Jacksonville Community Land Trust, I've been on the board since March or April. I can't remember when I officially was elected in, but how I got associated with them is just through networking, and was introduced because what they do is they help people who are financially burdened get to home ownership.
Okay.
And so what we do is we get land and we purchase houses, or not purchase houses, we get land and we build homes, and we give the ability for someone to buy it at cost, to where somebody can purchase a home, for $120,000.
Yep.
Which home ownership is one of the, especially in my opinion, is one of the biggest milestones to
I agree.
financial security. So,
Absolutely.
and one of the biggest things I've noticed is that, our real estate market is, it's ridiculous. It's to the point where people that are doing all the right things are still struggling.
Yep.
So, it's something that I had a lot of input in with my real estate background and financial background. So when I met with Robin Pfizer, she had asked me to if I'd be willing to get on the board, and after seeing all the stuff that they were doing and looking at, I was like, yeah, this is something I would love to get on board with and help help the people of Jacksonville gain home ownership and gain that the financial security, along with the
pride,
and the self-esteem build of it, and the fact that we're putting these houses and when we're building them is not only just what we're doing, but it's an uplift to the entire community.
Huge. Yeah.
Because home ownership is huge, and if you care and you work hard and you give them those opportunities, people take care of it.
And it's a huge financial vehicle too.
Huge.
Let me ask you this: how many homes does Jacksonville? How many homes are they building a year?
So they're fairly new.
Yep.
I've been trying to get it started and been building the sort of the team together.
Yep.
Right now we're on the precedence of a house. We have a young man. We have designs, all this stuff. We're getting ready to break ground, and hopefully, if we can get the ball rolling here soon, we'll be the young man can move into the house into this year, beginning of next year. And then there's 2 properties that will be done. We're a lot of behind the scenes work to get it done, but
Got it. Will
be done by the end of September this year.
Got it.
So hopefully, once we start getting these things rolling, I perceive with what we're doing, the outreach and with what we have going on, I'm hoping for breaking ground on 6 homes a year.
Got it.
Going forward, if not more.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this, for listeners and things, are there things that maybe companies can, are you guys taking donations on different things, on labor, on anything? Like how does everything?
Everything, every and all things anyway. We're a collaboration of individuals from all walks of life that are just collaborating a bunch of ideas. I know I've brought ideas to the table that the group hasn't thought of, and there's things that they're bringing to the table that I've never thought of.
Yep.
We're doing everything from businesses that are in the building sector that are, hey, we'd love to do this at cost. We'd love to, help out in any way. We're doing that. We're open to donations. We work with banks. We work with the city of Jacksonville on grants and everything. So we've got a lot of different sectors that we're trying to work on to get this going, because especially with the group and what we're trying to get out there is a city of homeowners and private people, and is a better city to live in. It's a more vibrant city to live in. And the story, like I always tell, is it doesn't really matter how much money you have. If the city that you're in is terrible, what good is that? It's better to have
a great point.
City to live in where everybody is thriving and everybody has opportunities to grow. And
well, it's tough. I mean, we're in, my business is in the mortgage, but I'm, the real estate. So I have, you watch the prices. So I have some understanding of it, but you've watched the prices over the last even 5 years, and your typical family of 2 adults, 2 children, what used to be, good job, you're stable, everything like that, with all the, it's tough. Yeah. That payment has gone up and up and up and up. And so I love this initiative. I love the, at cost, homes you can't, that price has gone way up for your quote unquote starter home.
Yes, so. It's gone outrageous. Like I had said before, like the outside world shouldn't affect your financial picture.
Yeah.
But it's increased and crept to the point where small mistakes, like didn't save enough, broken arm, hospital visit.
Yep.
Now I got $5,000 on a credit card. Something small like that used to just trip you up for a year or so, now are just burying families. And it's very tough to get out of, and people in desperate situations make desperate decisions, and that's kind of, instead of trying to just fix the symptoms, we're wanting to address the actual problem.
Yep. Well, that's awesome. So good luck with, getting the first of those homes. And
yeah, thank you.
You never know how much impact you can have and the growth and everything like that. So, if you're a company that, is interested, make sure you get in touch. We'll put the contacts and everything like that, so that you can help out and make our city awesome, which it's already awesome, but make more people homeowners. So one of the things can you talk a little bit about what your knowledge is with, some of the grants and things like that? Like, are you familiar with, some of the Jacksonville things that, companies or homeowners or things like that are available?
Oh, there's a tons of grants out there. I know there's first time home buyer grants out there that are beautiful. I know that we have so many grants out. Another organization that I'm heavily involved with is the JSEP program here in Jacksonville, which is the Jacksonville Small and Emerging Business.
Okay.
And it's a chair, especially with Mayor Deegan, the Gregory Grant, who is just, he's just a cheerleader and just such a vocalist for the group, is blowing the group up. It's huge, and they help with all types of, if you're starting a business, grants, finances,
Awesome.
helping them get different programs in place. They've passed laws that now in the city of Jacksonville, any government-funded project is required to have 20% of JSEP certified businesses on it.
Wow.
And JSEP is a free organization. So just being a part of it, you get the opportunity to not only learn how to bid jobs, you get opportunities on all the different grants that are out there, local, state, federal grants help out with. I mean, there's immense. It seems about every week when I'm meeting with them, I'm learning that there's something new out there and something else coming about. So just so many of them, but just those opportunities, and then knowing that 20% of projects. And here in Jacksonville, we've got so many projects. We've got a stadium being built.
Yep.
We've got our transportation. People are building a new facility. We've got the animatronic car factory that's being built off, I believe, Talleyrand that's going in. So, I mean, that's just a couple.
I was going to say, it's happening. We had someone on the other day, too, talking about, the number of businesses that are, planning on moving headquarters here and things like that. So it's awesome. But I appreciate you sharing on those, two initiatives there, because that's important. And again, our podcast is just, we want to talk about Jacksonville and talk about the people of Jacksonville. I mean, you're somebody that's on the front lines of doing good stuff. So we appreciate that. So as far as just kind of going back on your end, you've obviously been very successful, on your real estate side. Any words of advice for someone that is just getting out? Anything that you kind of live by as far as even on the financial side, or anything that you're about?
Well, I would say probably one of the biggest things with all people is being self-aware and realistic. I mean, the statistics are out there that I think last time I had looked, I believe it's like 77% of people don't even have $400 for an emergency. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you're, just getting out of college, just starting your job, you don't have to go and put yourself in a detrimental position. You can be realistic with the fact that everybody is in that same spot. And that's going to, at least, especially for myself, when I was getting started, even though I owned homes and everything while it was growing, I lived in my car for 9 months. Just because the money that was coming in was going towards school or revamping, getting a house, set up so it could be rented, just anything like that, and anything spare just wasn't there. But I knew that those decisions and sacrifices were going to pay off. And a lot of people always say it's always great and easy to talk when you're in a certain spot. Everybody wants what you have, but they don't want how you got there.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing. There's nobody that's made it successfully that's not going to tell you it sucked.
I was gonna say there's no. Yeah, I know that, and it's like, I think just in general. I mean, there's a lot of great things on social media. There's a lot of positives, but the one thing is that instant gratification of here's the light, here's the life, here's the light. Well, most people that are successful, or they've been through it.
Yeah, they've been
through it.
And the old saying that from the inside of a Toyota Corolla and the inside of a Bentley looks the exact same. And you can only go 60 miles an hour.
That's right. I like that. One thing that that I read is that you've talked about being lucky and taking opportunities. What would you say to somebody that maybe feels like there's never an opportunity for me? Is that something that you can create? You can create your own opportunities, do you think?
Yes. Opportunities are always there. And if you're thinking that there's no opportunities, then you're not looking for them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the old saying, if I asked you how many red cars you saw on the way here,
Yeah.
you might not think of it. But then tomorrow, if I ask the same thing, you're looking for those cars. The opportunities are always there. I would say the biggest thing that I have learned is that failure is the greatest lesson you'll ever have in life. I firmly believe get started going strong, fail a bunch of times, because by time that person who's trying to figure it out before they get started even starts, you've already mastered it and are moving on, and you're 300 steps ahead.
I have to tell you, that is one of the things, like one of my favorite things that you just said, because man, think about how many times you could have failed and tweaked and been so far ahead versus the person that's still analyzing and never got started. So that's great advice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Anything that you want to touch on as far as, yourself, your company, anything at all?
Man, I can't think of really much stuff to touch on. I mean, there's a bunch of great things out there. Anybody who's wanting to get involved, wanting to know what's out there, whether for their own benefit or wanting to bless others with benefits. I mean, there's so much out there between JSEP, the Jacksonville Community Land Trust. Those are just ones I'm involved with, but there's hundreds of them out there. Yep. Jacksonville is one of the biggest small cities. No one really talks about really what's going on, but I love podcasts and different news outlets that are trying to get the word out. Like, hey, look, there's a lot going on here.
Man, those two things that you just, I'm sure that, there's a lot of people that are not aware, and not aware that those things are out there, and guys like you are, pushing the envelope as far as like, let's, and which I know that there's a huge, obviously you're on the board for some, I know there's a huge time commitment that you're putting your time in for the city of Jacksonville. So that's awesome. Course, yeah. Very cool. So I appreciate you being here today. I definitely learned stuff. I know our listeners will as well. Congratulations on your success. And now from, where you were as an entrepreneur to now giving back to the city of Jacksonville, and great, company that you're working for right now. So good luck with everything, and we appreciate your time today and letting Jacksonville know what you're all about. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
The Hometown Jax podcast is recorded and produced by First Coast Mortgage Funding, located in the heart of Jacksonville. Do you want to be our next guest? Visit our website at hometownjaxpodcast.com. We can't wait to hear your story.